Okay guys, this would be the last approach. Here we have to see word from grammatical perspective, okay, and specifically from morphological perspective. Morphology is basically the grammar of the internal words, and syntax is the grammar of the internal sentence. So we have to see here the grammar of words, how word is grammatically definable. Okay, so we will see only two features. The first one is indivisible, okay, and the second one is isolable. That word is indivisible and it is isolable. By indivisible, we mean to say that it is not further divisible. It cannot be divided further. Okay, this is one feature. Okay, so we have to see whether the word could be divided further or not. Okay, the second one is isolable, that it's a free form. It may occur freely. Okay, so let's see what we have here. Basically, these two features are taken from Leonard Bloomfield's definition. Okay, the greatest American linguist, Leonard Bloomfield, who was also a structuralist. Okay, so he defined a word as a minimum free form. Okay, the smallest form that may occur in isolation, but this definition also suffers from the same defect. The first one, let's discuss the first one first. Indivisibility. Okay, that the word is not further divisible, that you cannot break a word further. Okay, that will be one word. Like you cannot break it, a word, and you cannot insert anything within a word. Structurally, the word should be indivisible. Okay. So a word is a linguistic unit which does not permit the insertion of any other linguistic material. For example, we have got little boy. So if we can insert anything between them, okay, or in this expression, then it means that this is not a single word. For example, if we insert English, okay, between these two, so it is it means that it is divisible. So these two combined, they are not single word, but rather they are two words. Okay, fine. Like for example, the ideal example would be, let's say, sing. Okay, so you cannot insert anything within it. You cannot break sing into s and ing, or si and or something like that. Okay, so this is the ideal example of a word in terms of this feature. Okay, now move on to another example, singing. Now generally we cannot insert anything here. Okay, but the issue is that why not? If we divide singing into sing and ing, okay, then we have got and we insert something like here. Okay, if we divide singing into sing and ing, okay, and we insert ing and dance, okay, so we'll get two words here, singing and dancing. Keep this in mind that this ing has been inserted, and here dance has been inserted. Okay, it is attached there. So we did not insert a word or even the whole words. Okay, but this is no objection. Okay, fine, because so far we have not defined any word. We haven't defined the concept of word, so we can insert anything like here. Okay, fine. This is why this definition or this criterion or rule has been violated here. Okay, fine, So we have got many words where we can define, we can divide that. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is here that this feature is useless, this is baseless, in the sense that we have got many words like player can be it can be divided further into play and er, and then we can add anything to it. With play we can say plays, and with er we can say doer, do, so it becomes doer. So what I'm trying to say here again is that words, okay, it means that player, player, player is not a word. Why? Because it is divisible. Okay, so there are plenty of examples in which we can divide that. Okay, so this feature should not be taken seriously as a criterion to define word, to identify a word. Okay, now move on to the second feature, that is isolable. It means that it must be free. It is a free form. Okay, it may occur freely. Okay, like for example, in the example above, this sing is a word. Okay, because it can occur freely, and this ing is basically not a word. Okay, why? Because it cannot occur freely. Okay, it has to be attached to something. Okay, so this ideally sing is a word, and this ing is not a word. Okay, that's, as if we consider this feature. Okay, so why? Because these words may occur in isolation. Okay, but we have some defects here. Okay, why? Because Leonard Bloomfield thought that that the smallest bit of speech that can occur in isolation would be the word. Okay, and he was like quite certain about it. Okay, so but the issue is that whatever we utter in isolation is almost certainly what we have learned to recognize as a word in writing. Like we can there are a lot of examples in which we can cross check it. For example, as per the definition of, or the the benchmark of the second feature being isolable, is that this word the, this is a word. Why? Because it can occur. Okay, but the issue is that it cannot occur. Okay, why? You cannot say the or the, okay, without anything. You have to say something. Okay, like you cannot say the. Why? Because you have to say the book, the boy, the girl, the table. You have to say something here. It does not occur. Okay, it does not occur by itself. Okay, we have to provide a context for that, a linguistic context for that. Likewise, this is a definite article. Likewise, if you move on to an indefinite article, a or a, then again we need a context. This indefinite article, a or a, does not occur in isolation. Okay, among many words which do not occur by themselves in any natural conversation, do not include only these two, but rather we have got plenty of examples. Like these are articles, but if you think of possessive cases of pronouns like my and your, okay, so you will find that we have to put something after that. You have to say my cap, okay, my keys, my classroom, my assignment, and likewise you have to also consider this by. By does not occur by itself. So even in French language we have got this example. Okay, so that's another way to say that what's the first word in the phrase, let's say the book or the child or the table. Okay, that's another way to look at it. But in natural conversation it does not occur this one. Or you may even ask like what comes before book in the phrase the book, let's say. But that's not the way. We do not talk like this, okay? It has been emphasized for something. It could be a question somehow in a classroom if you ask students. So it is obvious, however, that questions like this, questions about language, cannot fairly be used to establish what words are. We cannot talk like this about word. That's not the scientific method, okay? Likewise, why not, like, we could produce some, fake examples, some bogus words, okay, by asking, for instance, what comes before, eject in the word reject, okay? So the answer would be definitely re. Or what is the last, element of boys, okay? So that would be definitely the apostrophe s or s, like that, okay? So the issue here is that we cannot do so. That's just for the sake of emphasizing something, okay? We are here concerned with morphemes, okay, with affixes, prefixes, suffixes, like that, okay? So we cannot look at the example of John's. Here the apostrophe is almost equivalent to of. Like, for example, John's success. So success of John, okay? So this apostrophe is equivalent to of, okay? If you do not consider this example of, first of all, of, or of does not occur by itself, okay? We have argued that initially. But even so, if you do so, so what about this apostrophe and s in the expression John's? This apostrophe and s, it does not occur by itself. So should we call this combination as a single word, or we have two words? Why? Because this apostrophe s is equivalent to of. So in the expression, success of John, okay, we have got three words. But when we say John's success, so should we treat this expression having three words or two words? So if that's so, apostrophe and s does not occur by itself, okay? And likewise, look at the prefix in the example intolerable, okay? So in is equivalent to not, and not does occur by itself as per the definition if we just do not go much into detail. But in does not occur, okay? So what should we do with it? Okay, like tolerable is one word and in would be the other. But here the issue is that in does not occur in isolation, okay? And likewise, the film producer Sam Goldwyn once said, okay, that I can describe your proposal in just two words: impossible. So look at this example, which is taken from from a story. So this is like are they two words or a single word? Okay, why? Because M means not, okay, not possible. So if he had said like I can describe your proposal in just two words, not possible, that then even it is plausible, okay, convincing, that we would say that not is a single word and possible is another. But im and possible, so what should we say? Should we treat them as two words? No, it's not like that, okay? So what I'm trying to say is that these two features, being indivisible and being isolable, cannot help us, okay? That's why like for example, if you analyze the pronouns, so your, my, our, okay, their, its, her, his, so they do not occur by themselves, though we have got some counterparts like it's your pen, okay, it's your pen, so we have to say something like pen, a noun. But you can also say it's yours, okay? So yours can occur in isolation, but your cannot occur, okay? Fine. My cannot occur in isolation, okay, independently. It cannot stand by itself, but mine can. Like for example, it's my chair, okay. So here you cannot say it's my. You have to say something after it. It's my chair. Or you can say even it's mine. So mine is isolable as per the definition, but my is not. Okay, so should we treat my as a single word or not? What should we do with that? Because it requires a context to occur. Okay, it requires a noun after it. Okay, so the evidence for these forms suggest, okay, in fact, that the forms that are never used in isolation are not minimum free forms. Okay, this could be the possible conclusion. And if you look at Arabic in Urdu, the definite article is written as part of the word. Okay, like it's not written as a separate word. Okay, it's part of the word. But in English, it's not the case. Okay, we have the article, you know, in a separate case. Even we have got a class, and that is articles. Okay, the and a and an. So what's the conclusion of that? The conclusion is that it's easier for a layman, okay, to talk about word, to define what word is, okay, but for us it's really difficult. Okay, so linguistically the word is not a clearly definable linguistic unit. Okay, it's not a clearly definable unit. Okay, because you know it must be if we do the objective analysis. Okay, so we must have something what in scientific method we call consistency. The results must be consistent. Okay, but here we saw that the results were not consistent. Okay, the word was not recognized is some entity from semantic perspective, okay, or in terms of sounds or in terms of structure. Okay, we have analyzed the concept of words in terms of meaning, that was semantic approach, then in terms of sound, that was phonetic or phonological approach, then we moved on to the third and the last approach, and that was in terms of structure, okay, being isolable and indivisible. Okay, but we just couldn't arrive at any conclusion yet. Okay, so we shall perhaps have to recognize some kind of unit that corresponds closely to the written word and define it ultimately in terms of a combination of the features we have been considering. So what I'm trying to say in the end, we should say we have to understand, you know, that we should have another term. In the end, I'll just conclude that we should have the concept of lexeme. Lexeme, for us, students of linguistics, we must use, you know, lexeme instead of word. Then, along with lexeme, we can have words, we can have forms. Okay, for example, take would be your lexeme. The word take, T-A-K-E, take. Okay, and it will have different forms. The first form would be take, this the same thing. Okay, and then the second form could be took, and then we could have taken, and then the fourth form could be takes, and the fifth form could be taking even. Okay, so the word, you know, the lexeme is basically the basic unit here. Okay, fine. So that's the best way. So we can talk about lexeme, okay, using words, using language, but you know, we cannot talk about word using words, okay, in that sense. So that's why this technical term lexeme is the most suitable candidate for that. Okay, in the coming lectures I shall talk about it a little bit more in detail. Okay, and that's the end of the lecture. Thank you.